Hi, my name is Tori. In 1998, I had many titles and I wore many hats. I had graduated top of my high school class. I was a high honors college graduate, a police officer, Miss Rhode Island 1994, otherwise referred to as a beauty queen. I was a cheerleader, I was a cheerleading coach, and also the program coordinator. I was a stepmother, and I was a wife. And all the while, I was also a victim of domestic violence. While I went about my day-to-day business, I concentrated all of my available energy on maintaining the outward appearance that everything was just great, the way things are supposed to be for a newlywed. In a relatively short amount of time, the violence going on in my home behind closed doors spun out of control to the point that I could no longer keep it a secret. My life was in danger. When I came forward as a victim of domestic violence, I was faced with many varied reactions. Shock from those who would say, "But you're such a strong woman. How could you let that happen to you?" To blame from those that just don't understand the dynamics of domestic violence. And disbelief from those that refuse to believe that I could be a victim of domestic violence because I was a police officer, and also because my abuser was a police officer as well. I remember well the fear that I faced, or that I felt, while I had to face a jury of my peers. I knew at that point that although it was my ex-husband that was on trial for his crimes committed against me, it was still me that was on trial in their eyes. It was critical and crucial that they believe me, regardless of what supporting evidence there may have been. I remember looking into their eyes and feeling so afraid that they wouldn't believe me. I didn't fit the stereotype for a victim of domestic violence in their eyes. I could see that. I also knew at the same time that maintaining my composure, although it was important to me, it also could have worked against me in the eyes of the jury because I wasn't acting like a victim. So how could I be one? I felt very strongly that those jurors were sizing me up as a victim. That if the women on the jury accepted that I could be a victim of domestic violence, then maybe they would have to accept that they could someday maybe walk in my shoes. And the men, if they accepted that I was a victim of domestic violence, then maybe they would have to accept that their sisters, their nieces, maybe even their daughters, could also find themselves in similar shoes to those that I wore. 12 years later, I'm hopeful that through education, through campaigns like this, we can start breaking down those stereotypes. Stereotypes of victims of domestic violence seem to be held onto very strongly by most people. Everybody thinks they know what a victim looks like, or a perpetrator. In 2010, I'm still wearing many hats. Only now I'm a domestic violence investigator, I'm an educator, a domestic violence volunteer, I'm a mommy, and a proud survivor of domestic violence. In closing, I ask that you please get involved and ask questions. Support accountability for abusers, no matter who they are, no matter what their jobs may be. Provide support and not judgment for victims of domestic violence. And please remember, domestic violence can happen anywhere. It can even happen here.